on either side.
We're both way too short to be working on this thing on the flat ground.
I think this battery's longer than that other one.
Yeah, we're gonna need some pliers or something. You got any pliers on you?
I didn't bring anything out here.
Open them up.
There you go.
When it's time to race.
So just went and picked up 2 new batteries from O'Reilly's. I'm gonna end up replacing the turnables, but right now we're just gonna see if that was the problem because the batteries that were in here were not big enough. So let's see if this works.
Please. Please. Oh, yeah. All right, pull the choke. Yeah. If it doesn't...
What's going on, guys? So as you heard, we did get this thing started the other day. I just kind of wanted to go a little bit more in depth on when I was talking about the batteries that were in here originally were too small. So I actually thought that all starter batteries were basically about the same, but I was wrong. So CCAs that we were lacking in those other 2 batteries. One was technically bad, but the other one just wasn't enough to power this thing. So in this type of like big engine, you're gonna need more CCAs, and that's cold cranking amps. And so in a nutshell, it's just all that power right at the start to get this thing turned over. One of the batteries was 650, and then the other one was 750. And that, like I said, that's still just super low. Ended up getting 2 new batteries that are Group 65 850 CCAs each. And as you could tell, as soon as we put those in there, you could just hear how much power it had. So that's good news. Now, as far as that winding that you heard, I don't really know what that is. I want to say it's just maybe like a belt or something, and plus it was really cold that day, kind of like it is today. So fingers crossed that all it is maybe just a new belt, because that won't be too expensive and pretty quick to fix. So the next step though is what we're going to be working on today. We'll be taking that old rusty gas tank and replacing it with a fresh new one. So this ground's extremely muddy, so I'm just going to be laying on cardboard to get this thing out. So one thing, if you remember in the last video, there were some rusted locking pliers. So just gonna go ahead and replace those. And I'm just kidding, we're gonna be taking all of this out right here. Not sure how much gas is actually in this tank, but I know there can't be a whole lot, I think. So look at the difference between these. It's so crazy. This one's literally black. So I'm an idiot, and this thing had a lot more gas in it than I thought. And I probably could have just dropped the whole thing. I'm not sure why I started undoing the hoses first, but anywho, I only lost about maybe $15–20 worth of gas. Ended up having to move the ambulance forward just a hair as well to lay down underneath here. And I don't know, besides these straps, I really don't know what all is holding this thing on. Not sure if y'all can tell, but I don't know anything about cars and such. So this is going to be a huge learning curve for me, which is cool, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I'll probably do a lot of stuff worth making fun of. Well, probably did that the hardest way possible, but it's out. All right, so you can see that the new tank is actually bigger. I wasn't really sure what size tank was already in here. So I'm gonna guess that's the 18, 19, I think it was, is what it was. So this new one's gonna be 22. And then the one that I'm putting up front, which I'll install that later on, but the one that one's gonna be is a 33. So yeah, this thing, I will have plenty of gas this time, okay? As to the FJ, where I only had 19 gallons, I believe. Old straps, new straps. Look how dirty that is. Okay, so with a little bit further examination of this piece right here, the end is broke. Not sure what that's supposed to be connected to. And then on the end of this that was sitting in the bottom of the tank is a 5/8 socket. So I have no idea what was going on, but I can't believe that was in here. Piece I pulled out that was connected to this hose right here was literally just sitting, like coiled up like this. It was just sitting on top of the tank. So, I mean, it's extremely dirty as well, just like everything else. So I'm probably gonna call it today and then pick up a few more things, put it together, and hopefully it works. So this is actually really exciting, all right? So ended up getting this assembly in the mail this morning, and it's actually hilarious on how this piece looks than what was in there. So this is what was in there, remember? And this is what it's supposed to look like. So, yeah, that is something else, right? This is actually what the fuel pump's gonna be now. If you remember where the rusted locking pliers were, that was actually holding on a inline pumps. I'll probably just end up cutting that and I guess just doing like a new hose on it, but I will worry about that whenever we get out there. The next thing is in this little box. This is supposedly supposed to be this, but this just looks really small.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
I wonder if I'm supposed to use this same... Oh, maybe so, because that actually lines up now. Okay. I just got that part in today. Yeah, it's very cold. Look at this. This is what it's supposed to look like. Whoa, dude. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. This is gonna be so much, but this is like modern fuel tech.
All right, so we are running out of tabletop space in here, so that's why I'm on the floor. But was just talking to Caleb and trying to see some other stuff that we might need for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and put all the pieces on. I let the yard out there dry out a little bit, so I'll probably be back Wednesday morning. So this is going to sit in here like that. It's a pretty tight fit though. This was that bigger one though, I thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was on the 33 gallon tank. everything looks right, I believe. So I'll come back on Wednesday morning, rain or shine, throw it on, and fingers crossed it cranks, and I don't know, we may be able to drive it.
Hopefully it works.
So the ground is still wet out here, so I've got some cardboard down, so the tools are on, and we're putting the tank in today. Fingers crossed all goes well, so let's get under there. Not sure if these are the original hangers, but this is what was on here, so that's what we're gonna roll with. Okay, so I just couldn't get the end of the hose on with it already being on the tank. So I had to drop the tank again, and then I'm just gonna try to put it on this way first. Just want this thing on the road.
It's in the Daily Mail. It's hard, it doesn't want me. I better tell the tale. But there's a hole in my heart where you end, and that's a start. Now it goes on and on, on and on. Without you.
So showing y'all this one thing, and then I'm heading out of here. The plug that I needed is this right here, all right? And it's where the front tank would be, okay? So it's not in the rear. I don't have any wires that run back there. But isn't that funny that it's right here where I don't need it to be? All of these wires now to see where they go, because nothing was connected to the back of the fuel gauge. Yeah. So this is where we're at. Okay, so essentially what I'm talking about here is everything that you see on this diagram, I basically do not have. So the only thing that I do currently have is the fuel tank and the fuel pump assembly. As far as the stock fuel lines go underneath, they're all cut in different sections. So there's a totally different line running to those. The only source of power that's underneath is this yellow wire, and that's just coming from the fuse box. With this clip, I'm just putting in the positive and negative wires to try to get this new fuel pump assembly to power on. Son of a dude. So today is a new day. It's a very cold day, and we've pulled the tank again. Woohoo! So the biggest problem we've been having, right, is the pump is just not wanting to cut on with the little clip thing that we have. So we're just gonna wire it straight to the battery, see if it cuts on, and if it doesn't cut on, then I guess I'll have to get a new pump.
Troubleshoot from here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ooh.
There it is. Okay.
Sick. So yeah, pump works. Down here you can see, I don't know if you can see, I don't know how to work Eric's camera, but oh, there we go. So we've hooked everything back up to the car. It's pumping fuel, the plug's working, everything's just working. We're gonna try to start it. Hopefully it works. So weird how quiet that motor sounds, good.
Yeah, it's really not that loud.
The engine's really quiet.
Yeah, this thing's open. It's just Look at muffler being cut off.
Should idle now. While we got that off, I'm gonna raise the idle up a little bit so it'll idle easier.
Okay.
It's idling so low.
Yeah. All right, so we finally got this thing running and super stoked about that. So I think the next thing that we're gonna need to do is put a fuel gauge in here. And I've got one, I just don't know anything about wiring, so I'm gonna have to study that a little bit longer before I just start going and ripping stuff out, which I will be doing pretty soon, because the more that I find, the more there's just wires and clusters just everywhere. So I'm gonna start ripping some of that out. And I know I had like 2 of these dashes, but I don't think I'm gonna go this route. Originally I really wanted to, but once I take all the wiring out, taking the old fuse panels out and stuff like that, it's just gonna make a lot more sense to just kind of create my own. So I think I'm gonna do each individual gauges and just kind of, and maybe do that like sheet metal for the back. I think it'll look pretty cool. And also I'm already having to replace everything else, so you know, what's a few more dollars here. So yeah, stick around for the next one. Subscribe if you haven't already. Really close to 1,000 subscribers. That would help me so much. There is progress being made on this thing, so fingers crossed it won't be too much longer before it actually gets into the shop with somebody that knows what they're doing, and everything will just be moving so much faster. So we'll see you in the next one.